Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Mana Talk. Yes, a lot is still going on. What's really going on is I'm not going on. On Facebook, that is. Basically, I went to Facebook jail. I posted something from a guy named Joseph Goebbels. Yeah. And it kind of went like this, right? And remember, you guys know who I am, what I'm about, what I do. Obviously, Facebook has no fucking clue what I'm about, what I do, etc. But it's right there in Facebook jail because I posted this. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economical, and military consequences of the lie. That's from a Nazi. He was bragging about the process. I, on the other hand, was basically just saying this seems to be the new norm of mainstream media, and that's always Fox, MSNBC, CNN, Huffington Post, New York Times. You know, you fucking name it. Just name it. Anybody out there that's trying to keep their job as a journalist, anybody out there that's getting advertisement from big pharma, big oil, big, whatever, big banks, Wall Street, etc. I mean, when I see Bloomberg posting things, does anybody remember this guy just kind of came in out of nowhere, gave the DNC like $1 bazillion, and next thing you knew, he's on stage. While Tulsi Gabbard worked for a year and a half trying to get herself on there, and they went after her because she was going after the military-industrial complex. And then later on, whatever the deal they gave her, because it's a deal. You don't make those kinds of decisions because you're just falling in line. You have a motive for it. You've been motivated to go to a certain direction, to move in a certain direction. So whatever deal they gave her, she took it, and she says I support, but I don't think she ever said she endorsed. So I'm not sure. But anyway, so that's 24 hours. It could be longer. Basically, I was just, conveying information like I always do on my Facebook. And it's just wrong. It is just wrong. Right? How about a phone call? James, what the hell is going on here, man? What is this about? Well, basically, there's my story. Okay, you can stay on. But what they do is they have these algorithms. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little something that I was watching just haphazardly. And this is before it happened earlier today, before I got booted. Or was it last night or something? This morning, I think it was, earlier today. I'll find it real quick. So it's real simple, and it has to do with AI and the algorithms, right? It has to do how that process works. And right here, this guy, they're talking about how prosthetics has changed dramatically. There's some great things that AI has done, but it's also thinking for us. And it's curbing okay, I brought this up to Stevie the couple days ago, or yesterday, or something like that. I said, we create the machine. We program the machine to do what we want it to do. So these algorithms are based on what they want you to see and what they don't want you to see. So, and look, everybody knows that Alex Jones is just like the biggest opportunist. He preys on Christians and religious groups, basically selling them just ridiculously nutty fucking products and sending them off into fucking outer space, flat earthers, reptilian people, and the whole fucking 9 yards. It's crazy. But he got pulled. And he's had the hardest time trying to come back. That not only, look, I'm okay with you making a buck. I'm okay with you making your money and taking care of your family. And there's a lot of people that are, selling cars, selling real estate, selling product after product after product, knowing that it might not work or it might not benefit you or it doesn't do what they claim it to be. McDonald's is a great example. Burger King is a great example. If you look on their order board, those fucking Big Macs are gigantic, right? It's for a reason. You go to Arby's, right, and you want to order a fucking roast beef sandwich, and you see this just tons of fucking sliced beef in there. You're just like, yeah. And then when you get it, where's the beef? You're just, that dates me. But still, it's all smoke and mirrors, right? It's all smoke and mirrors. Snake oil salesmen everywhere. My show is about trying to take care of the planet and all of its inhabitants, and hopefully putting people in leadership positions that actually give a shit. And if we have the right people, we might, all live better lives, better quality of life, less pain and more joy. Joy and pain. But that's pretty much it. So let me play this. And this guy really thinks he's on the right side, right? The guy coming up here. Watch this.
For Hugh Hare, artificial intelligence is a blessing. By the time our interview was over, a snowstorm was raging in Boston. An interesting coincidence, as this was also how Hugh's transition began. Thanks to AI, body and machine are slowly merging. Artificial intelligence is also increasingly determining our communication. It's there, behind every search, hidden from view. In social networks, intelligent algorithms control what we see and thus influence what we read and what we don't. But there's a problem: fake news. Capturing and reselling our attention and our digital data has become big business. Information technology firms are among the most valuable companies in the world.
Look at the list. The largest companies in the world, market values in billions. Okay? And it's over the years, these companies have gone to, and I'm going to tell you what it is now. I know you guys have heard of the military-industrial complex. This is called the social media industrial complex. And the social media industrial complex does the same thing. The same thing with using the media to stir us, point us, manipulate us in certain directions, and or getting and obtaining manufactured consent. This is now the new norm, and basically I got the brunt of it on my Facebook. It's not the first time I've been blocked or in Facebook jail. Twitter, I've been there too. So far not in YouTube, but I guess I'm just not big enough yet. So if you guys like the videos, share it, subscribe, etc. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to sell coffee cups and t-shirts. I just want I want you all to know what's happening out there and what's going on. I want you to make do your own due diligence, your own research, and form your own conclusions. And then if it all pans out to where we're in the same direction, then let's move forward and try to fix this fucking thing. But so what's happening is the social media industrial complex is getting pretty fucking crazy. And they're dictating a direction to the masses.
Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter have changed the media worldwide. But exactly what role do their intelligent algorithms play in the spread of fake news? In 2018, a team of scientists from Boston analyzed the spread of fake news. The study was led by Professor Sinan Aral. It was the largest worldwide study that had ever been conducted on the spread of fake news on social networks.
While information is abundant, attention is scarce.
Look him up. Remember his name. Know that he does not give a shit about you. All he cares about is the list of those companies and the list of all those people, politicians that are giving these orders, right? They're giving these orders to fuckheads like this and others, in Silicon Valley that are putting together these building blocks, or I would say these nets. They're like fish nets. How to catch a predator or whatever. How to catch somebody that doesn't go with the narrative, that isn't malleable, that is ungovernable, as Deb Della Piana would say. As a lot of people out there definitely are starting to see and notice that this is the norm. Fascism is here. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The manipulation and the control is definitely here. I'm not saying it hasn't been here. It's just really here. And it's getting much worse.
So there's way more information than we can process. And so these platforms help us by curating the information and, as you said, prioritizing what comes first in our news feed, what comes second, what comes third. And they have a machine, an algorithm based on machine learning that is deciding what gets shown first, second, third, or in fact what gets shown at all. Some things are not shown. It's not the case that every piece of information is shown to everyone.
But which criteria do Facebook and Twitter use to program their algorithms?
The incentives of the people writing those algorithms are based on the incentives of the platforms, the companies that they work for. Those
Bingo. Right? Now, I'm not saying this guy's a shit, but he knows about this. This should be one of the major stories, for sure, in the mainstream media. This should be the story. That right now, everybody that's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media platform that you like on, Twitch, you fucking name it. You're being scrutinized constantly. You're being evaluated constantly. You're being judged constantly. Right? Thou shalt not judge. Right? If you're a Christian, you should be fucking livid. Pissed off, upset. I'm not going to get into all that. But this is really happening. This is what's really happening. And you guys got to realize that they're all playing on the same fucking team. The two-party oligarchy, or the corporate party, I call it now, exists. It's not a deep state on one side and kind of some shady, misogynistic, racist fucker on the other side. That they're all in it. That all our parties have been compromised. Thank you, Howard Hawkins, for fucking up the Green Party. But it's sad. Why in the fuck does the Green Party have delegates? I thought they were all about ranked choice voting. Right? They have maybe 200,000 people across the U.S. that are registered Greens. They can't fucking count those votes. They can't do paper ballots. Right? They can't have fair and equal time and I mean, the whole thing is fucked up. It's like the mini DNC. As I'm watching the process, and this is the second time I've seen it since 16 and 2020, it's fucked up. It's all fucked up. What's fucked up? It's all fucked up. All right? But you got to hear this.
Companies are based on an economic model of engagement. The more people are engaged, the more opportunities you have to show ads, and so you have more inventory for advertisements. But the second important reason is that the more people are engaged, the more you learn about who they are and what they like.
Your inventory. You guys got to see that. You're just inventory to them. You are a number that they will show to their advertisers and say, well, that demographic or that target market or whatever you're selling or whatever you're pushing, etc. Here's the numbers. You'll probably hit and get these many people to open up your envelope. It's no different than I used to do it. It's fucking no different than direct mail. It's no different because what they do is let me give an example. I was in direct mail for a while. Did pretty good. I've done it back and forth for a long time. It's what they do. Like I say, it's a car dealership. They want you to come in. They'll do a soft pull on your credit. You don't know it, but they will, right? And they'll pull people within a 10-mile radius that have a certain income, that are working, that have a certain credit score, or etc. Let's say 590 to 640, right? Subprime lending, whatever the case may be, but I think you're getting it, is you're now inventory, you're their target market. And it goes the same way. It goes the same way for how, and he's showing this, for how they're discriminating people with their opinions, their theories, conspiracy theories, right? Their opinion. I mean, just what they believe in, right? I mean, if you want to be a Hare Krishna and knock on everybody's door on Facebook, go ahead, but I'm going to fucking block you sooner or later. That's my decision. They've taken our right to make our decision. They treat us like fucking toddlers. Plain and simple. Let's continue.
And the more sophisticated the targeting is in terms of advertising. So engagement is a key factor for the economic success of the social media industrial complex.
Daily internet usage.
You see that? Did you hear that? Social media industrial complex. Just wanted to say. I'm not the first one to coin that.
Is increasing worldwide. In 2018 in Germany, the average was over 3 hours a day. For younger people, it was just under 6 hours a day.
Things that are exciting, novel, surprising, things that are potentially shocking are more likely to be engaging, clicked on, read, viewed, shared, liked, and therefore there are elements of the models that determine the news feed that favor engagement.
The following case from Japan shows what fake news and social networks can lead to.
Now, sadly, Train-wreck Trump, I think, coined the phrase fake news, right? Sadly, he's the one who did it, pretty much, and spread it everywhere. But in my opinion, I don't think there should be, right? Because you should be able to, for example, today I called a hospital, checked to see if I could get through to talk to somebody to see how full they were because they were overstaffed, COVID's really bad. And I was doing some research. And I'm actually, getting to the horse's mouth and doing my own due diligence. The thing is not everybody has that time, so they depend on mainstream media. They just don't have fucking time. So they have to put their faith in Fox, their faith in MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Los Angeles Times. You know, the list goes on and on and on. But there are some people that will show you where they're getting their information and how they're getting their information. Whereas the mainstream media just kind of just throws it out there, if you've noticed, and they just expect you to believe it. So, like I always say, chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself. Fucking do your own due diligence. Research, investigate as much as you can on your own. Or find a source that's actually showing that information. Find somebody that's actually presenting it where they're going to leave footnotes and links on how to research it yourself. Right? I'll let him continue.
Videos showing young women who allegedly became ill after a cervical cancer vaccine were posted online. At the same time, unverified scientific studies were circulated on social networks. Both videos and studies were picked up by television. This led to the vaccination rate against cervical cancer in Japan falling from 70% to less than 1%. How could it be that false information could turn an industrialized country like Japan against a globally recognized vaccination? Hamburg, where we meet Riku Muranaka. The doctor had tried to counteract the anti-vaccine hysteria and inform the public online. But then she was targeted.
I was harshly attacked in the Twitters or social media when I started writing about the safety of the vaccines. They even tried.
Targeted or challenged? There's a difference, right? There's a difference between targeting and challenging somebody on their theories, on their opinions, on their statements, on their narrative. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this day and age, they'll pull you. They'll block you. They'll put you in Facebook jail. So what's interesting about this young lady, and I'll show you real quick, or as quick as possible. I did a little research, and if you saw those videos of what that vaccine did, to find out that a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, or last year I think it was, this particular girl was given a prize by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Okay? Okay, so let me go back to this and I'll show you real quick. Now let me show you what people were bringing up about her, about this. Right, I'm going to show it again. Right, hold on.
Videos showing young women who allegedly became ill after a cervical cancer vaccine were posted online. At the same time, unverified scientific studies were circulated on social networks. Both videos and studies were picked up by
allegedly and unverified. Okay, if I dig a little deeper, did you find that yet? If you dig a little deeper, I'm going to tell you, I bet you a lot of that information is pretty sound. I'm going to say that information is pretty freaking sound. Right? And it was challenging their perspective. It's not, I wouldn't say their perspective. What they're pushing. What they're sending out that you need to believe and you need to know that this is the way it is. These are the facts. Are they? Let us decide. Let us decide. That's being taken away like crazy. Oh, Stevie's in the waiting room. My apologies. By the way, Stevie's here. Stevie with Red Economics. She sits right across from me. I'm going to go ahead and put my thing in, put my... you wanted to say, or you had any comments or anything like that? Or welcome to Monotalk. It should be Mononomics. As we're on here a lot. I mean, we have no choice. We're just here all the time. And it's good to have people on. Anybody in the chat? Any questions, any comments real quick? You can do the Steph and I'll do the Jimmy, or you can do the Jimmy and I'll do the Steph. It doesn't matter to me. It's a free world. Anybody there? Anybody listening? God, I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, we got Snort in chat. There's 4 people watching.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to mute. Did you want to say anything, or where are you at?
Oh, I was just doing it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
You and I'll jump in.
Okay, so let me see, where was I? All right. So what we're really looking at, what we're witnessing and what we're going through is complete and total manipulation, control. And it seems as also the divide and conquer, a long time process of the elite, is still fucking happening. Or it's happening at an exponential level. It's just it's off the hook. It's crazy. So I'll show you another picture, and I want you to go check this guy out. His name is the Corbett Report. All right, he's a little rightish, but all of his information. After I've been watching this guy here and there, I've checked his information, right? And when you're seeing Snoops, PolitiFact, Fact Check, News Guide, all these mainstream media fucks out there that work for the two-party oligarchy, they work for the two-party oligarchy, or the corporate party, they don't want you to know what's happening, what's going on, and how it's working, or how it's really going down. They don't. They fucking don't. Because they don't care about you, right? Like George Carlin said, it's a fucking big club. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't. You've got to watch him for sure. Something that recently happened, let me know when you're ready to chime in. Something that also happened recently, and I get in, and I do get into this, okay? Because I'm really trying my best to follow every angle to find out where exactly is the money trail, or where is this being pushed from? How is this getting to us? What are we, basically, what are the companies or corporations or people that are involved? Like I just said, that lady, right? Whatever her name was, Mana Rakatoki Sakalaki, right? Is very well connected to Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates. She is part of that process, right? She is right there.
They
She
even
is
tried.
definitely one of them. One of them, and for some people, you'd say it's good if you're a fan of Bill, which I definitely am fucking not. And you know what direction this man is going. So with that being said, there's also another clip that I took, somebody that I'm watching also. who's making great sense. And this is another person besides the Corbett Report who provides the links, who provides information, lets you do the research yourself. He gives you the guide so that you know how to find what he's seeing. So you can check it out yourself and maybe go a little further. You know, but in his most recent YouTube, he debunks their debunking. He totally and completely debunks their debunking. Ben Schwann has done the same thing many times over. He worked for a very reputable, supposedly reputable, I don't know if they're reputable anymore, a news station, and he started bringing out some pretty pertinent and important facts, truths. And it was going against the grain. Just like I go against the grain, just like Stevie goes against the grain, just like most of us are going against the grain, because we want to know what's really going on. And when we find out what's really going on, right, we're doing shit about it. We're doing something about it. We're informing people. We're trying to create things that'll help. For us, it's VoteHeard, VoteHeard.org, or you can look it up at VoteHeard, VoteHeard.org. Both ways are going to work. I'm doing the nonprofit to get this started so that we can take money out of politics, especially having us being able to vote without waving a party banner or flag or voting for the fucking stooge that they want us to fucking vote for. 10 states are already doing it. If we start at the city, state, county, state levels, we can start bringing other states to do the same thing. It's our right to vote for whoever we want. Some of our founding fathers warned us about it, about parties, because they've already been compromised. All of them have been compromised, for sure. All right, so let me just pull this up real quick. So this guy, the last American vagabond, I don't know what his name is. I always forget what the fuck his name is. But he recently did an ad, not an ad, but a show. He doesn't have, he's got thousands of subscribers. I know he's got plenty of time, and he's not doing the super chat. He's just bringing information to everybody, right? He's just doing it because he's really trying to give people the information that they need. Kind of like Jimmy, me, kind of like Stevie, right? But what recently happened is an advisor to the ID 2020 Alliance, which is the Bill Gates segment that they want to put IDs, and they're using a ring now. They want to, the basketball players are going to be wearing a ring, supposedly, when they're playing, so if they got it, and they can be traced and monitored and all this other shit, and they can know where they're going, contact tracing, and the way China gives you the facial ID recognition, and now you have to act nice, and if you don't fucking act nice in China, your credit or your fucking worth rating goes down. It's just fucking crazy. Fucking nuts. Fascism is just off the hook right now. You thought Hitler was fucking bad. This is insane. So basically, this lady, her name is Elizabeth Ramirez, resigned, said, fuck this is crazy shit. I don't want to be a part of this fascism, in a sense. As she stated in a quote, at this stage, I can no longer even describe what ID 2020's mission is with any confidence. Okay? All I can perceive is a desire to promote decentralized identity solutions at all costs. At all costs. At all costs. So decentralized means they're going to share this information with everybody. Not everybody, you and me, everybody, like a handful of fucking people. You know, the elite, the 1%, the people that are pulling the strings of our legislators and judiciaries and executives. Right? I mean, it goes on and on and on, but you've got to watch this kid. He's pretty amazing. And why I put the title, right? And if you look at the title of my show, right? If you put the title of my show, if you look at it, it's real simple. There are a lot. They're all on the same team. Like Hillary, Pedo-Joe, and Train-wreck Trump will both do and say whatever it takes to keep money in politics. Nobody's talking about Citizens United. Nobody's talking about McCutcheon versus the FEC. Nobody. Right? So you take money out of politics, and all the 99%, all that the 99% needs is attainable. I'm also talking about Black Lives Matter, and that is a touchy subject, and you got to kid gloves, I get it. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to do a show about that completely and thoroughly pretty soon, because I'll just sum it up. The reason why we're going through what we're going through is because there is still money that goes to lobbyists, military industrial complex, NRA, people that produce and make the gear, the weapons, and everything for the police. And they're going to come back. They're going to back off for a little bit, but they're going to come back full force, and they're going to get those contracts back because that you're fucking taking money from them. But you know what? They're okay for a couple years probably. They'll find a way to slither their way in, bribe, con, manipulate, intimidate, whatever they fucking do, to get the approval of these legislators, these judiciaries, and these executives, to get back in the coffers and the pockets of our tax dollars. They'll get back in. They'll find their way back in. So just asking to defund them isn't going to stop it. It's not going to. It's not fixing the core. You've got to take money out of politics. It helps, no doubt. It fucking helps. No doubt. So, okay, but let me make this one important point, and I'm going to hand over the mic to Stevie with Red Economics. If you were to take money out of politics, you would see the majority of Congress on the Hill in D.C. leave. Seats would be empty. Those guys would fucking run out of those halls so fast. You'd see people all over the country just saying, fuck this. If I can't be like Nancy Pelosi, I don't want a fucking piece of this. If I can't be like Donald Trump, I don't want a fucking piece of this. These greedy fucks. Because they don't give a shit. Right? That's basically the gist of it. Anyway, I yield my time. Can I go ahead? I'll turn it. I'm turned down. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say going forward,
I think you're good.
we should, because this is the problem that we're having with this is, and it keeps happening no matter, what issue it is, what year it is, the racism keeps getting brought back up because we cannot form a fully functioning, group if we can't all work together, and we can't all work together without tackling some of these racism issues. So, and I think what we should do going forward is yes, we should focus on the Black Lives Matter movement, but without co-opting it. So it's a little tricky because, like you always want to talk about like your thing, right? But I mean, they've been waiting for hundreds of years for just equal rights. So, I mean, and they keep doing the peaceful protests and the voting and all that. Nothing ever happens. So I think that we should make it a priority. I think it would be a show of good faith if we made a priority to tackle these issues. And at the same time, we can separately talk about what's the next step, which I would say getting money out of politics. But first, I mean, we can't work together if Black people are being killed in the streets, or if they don't have the same opportunities or discrimination. I mean, there isn't a part of our lives that are not touched by racism. So when we talk about, you know, police brutality, we also have to talk about, I mean, the politicians that are bought and paid for that put these or don't do anything, right? I just watched a video on Bob TV. He accidentally ran into AOC. And so he started questioning her about reparations. And she, man, she was like Neo. She was just like, yeah, I mean, she was dodging those questions. She did everything. She made it sound like she cares. She made it sound like she would just love to give, you know, ADOS reparations. But, you know, I mean, just tap dancing, just tap dancing. Did not answer that question. Would not answer that question. You know why? Because the big boss put out an email in 2015, 2016 that was leaked saying don't ever, ever give Black Lives Matter any concrete solutions or policies. Do not promise them anything. Do not say you're going to do anything for them, which is bullshit. Because, I mean, at least they lie to coal miners, right? Like coal miners, they say coal's coming back. But they say, don't you dare promise them anything. Don't you dare promise them that they can go out and drive in their car without fearing being murdered by a cop. Don't you dare promise them anything that would alleviate anything, even if you're full of shit. Don't give them any hope. So that's the same DNC that AOC works for, and that's exactly why she tiptoed around that answer. Because she doesn't give a shit. She's there for the cameras, she's there for the pictures, she's there for the praise and the attention, but she is not there to fix a damn thing, ever. Because if she was, she wouldn't have voted for Pelosi in the first place.
Yeah, so that's funny. That's fucking funny. Wait, let's get back to this. All right, so that's good, babe. That's really good. Yeah, so Mama Bear, right? She's everybody knows this. If you're watching Jimmy, if you're watching Kyle, if you're watching, well, maybe not Humanist Report, he still has some weird faith in her. I don't get it. I think. I know Ron, Graham, Zoom Politicon knows. Jamal definitely knows. Who else am I missing? The Hardlands Media guys, Combo Cat, definitely know, right? And our group, which I think I don't know if we're part of it, but anyway, we're there. We're all there. We know that she's, God, that chick she works it. Remember when I told you? I said, here's a picture of her, and I say, this is like years ago, right? I said, look at this picture. It looks like she was modeling for Vogue magazine or something. And I said, that reeks of opportunism. She's not who you think. And the vibe I got is like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be a millionaire. Nancy Pelosi has already fucking molded me, right? And that's fucking AOC. That's fucking AOC. That's for sure AOC. So, and then, like, the title that I'm using now. Joe Biden basically will say and do, he's just like Hillary. I think Obama even said it about Hillary. He'll do and say whatever it takes, promise this, that, and the other thing. Whatever you wanted to say. Go ahead.
Do you have the video where he was talking about prostituting himself? Do you remember that?
Oh my God. No.
Yes, I just sent it to you the other day, and it was back on Jimmy Dore's show like a year ago, because where I was working like, I don't know, 60, 80 hours a week. I was a little bit behind on stuff, so I started going back and looking at old videos that I'd missed, trying to get caught up on, you know, some things. But yeah, one of the videos was
So
from
guess
like a year
what?
ago.
Guess who
right
announced
when
that he's
the
running
race
for
was just getting
president?
started.
It's Uncle
And
Sniff
it was
Your
a video
Hair.
of Joe
Everybody.
Biden going out on the floor of
Touchy-feely
Congress. I
Joey
believe,
Creepy
and
is
he was
running
saying,
for
you know, I did what I was
And
supposed to do.
someone else,
I
huh? Vote for
prostituted
me.
myself. I prostituted myself in front of him. And he wasn't old enough, right? Was that it? Yeah. Okay, you got it. Okay,
Yeah,
Jimmy's gonna
I
play
got
it for you, or James.
You can call me Jimmy, babe.
Everybody knows you as James.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, James, Jimbo, whatever. I don't give. As long as you call, that's all that matters. Wait, hold on. Let me get off of here. Let me get off of there. Let me put this there. Yeah, I'm not super fly when it comes to the OBS, by the way, but I'm working on it. Yeah. Fuck the technology. You guys understand what we're saying, right? I'm not trying to razzle dazzle you with special effects. That's not what's fucking important. Wait, the train's going by. The train's just around the corner. Goes by. It's fucking cool. I'm a train guy, so I love it. So here it is. Right? There it is.
Here's Joe Biden talking about taking corporate money. Ready?
Senator, I'm sure that you would agree that your service in the Senate up to this point has not reflected any particular concern for the larger contributors.
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason, see, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talk about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son. And so I had to go.
What did he say? What was that?
The manner in which I talk about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son. And so.
Here's Joe Biden.
I gotta play it again.
Talking about taking
This is the
corporate
first time
money.
I've
Ready?
seen it.
Senator, I'm sure that you would agree that your service in the Senate up to this point has not reflected any particular concern for the larger contributors.
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason, see, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talk about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son. And so I had to go out.
We miss you, Jimmy. I hope you're having. Let me undo my mic. I gotta say, Jimmy, I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're in Hawaii. I know you told everybody you were doing an RV. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one. And then, right? Oh, we made changes. We decided to go to fucking Hawaii anyway. We might go. We're working on it. I don't know. If that fucking happens, I mean, one day in the future, that's my goal, is to get her to go out there so I can show her stuff. But maybe one day. But anyway, right? Does Donald Trump do the same thing with the companies he works with? I mean, he poses like he's not. He's so good at selling that facade that he doesn't fucking give a shit about the corporations. But look at his track record. Look at what he does. Look at who invests his donors on. I yield my time.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Are you good now?
Yep, good.
But I think that this goes to a more sinister problem, which is the fact that what year was this? Does it say? I mean, this was when, okay, so he went and supposedly talked to these people, right? Before he was old enough to run for president. So he had to have been under 35 when he talked to these, before he, in his words, poured himself out, right? So he
Prostituted.
was young, and here he is, in his what, late 70s?
Yeah,
He's in his late 70s. So this was before he was 35.
mid 70s.
And now he's in his mid 70s, and all of a sudden he's running for president. They have been working on this for years. Years. This has been in the making. Not just Joe Biden. Of course, Joe Biden's going to work for that. But the donors promised him he got his chance, right? And you see him on the stage. I mean, it had nothing to do with us, right? Which is supposed to be the main point. We're
Yeah.
supposed to cast our votes for the people that are running. And then a winner emerges. But no, they decided this at least, 35 years ago? That he was going to run for president? There he is Well, I mean, but then again, it's not his first time either, is it? Because Democrats love to run known losers. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Al Gore. Al Gore was another one. Didn't he win lose a previous presidential race? So they love to run losers because why? They know they're going to lose. They want to talk a strong game, but at the end of the day, they want to lose because really their goals are in line with the Republican Party. Because we have one party, and then the Democrats just give us lip service. That's it.
This is my take, and I think a lot of people are here already, and I know you are too. But I think they're all. It's just a dog and pony show. I watched the Fossey hearing yesterday. Some of it. I was busy doing other things, but it was pretty fucking obvious. They threw every fucking softball question at that motherfucker, every single one. One that was super important was guy McKinley from West Virginia mentioned something about the dangers of the vaccine and then changed. I think I'll play it later, but I think I have it. But then started talking about using propaganda to make Trump look bad. Didn't even get to the point. And he started talking about how long it takes to make a vaccine legal, usable, workable, to go out in the public. And it doesn't take a year and a half. It doesn't take that long. It takes a fucking lot longer. So I've told everybody now, forever, maybe they were just looking for a way to shut me down on Facebook, right? But basically, it takes 5-10 years, sometimes 15 years for a vaccine to be able to be administered. The only thing that Gates has been able to do is he pays off just greedy fucking African leaders and people in India, leaders in India, to come in and test his vaccines. And it's a fact. 50 some odd thousand people have been paralyzed, had serious issues, have been, handicapped for life with some of his guinea pig testing. And what's sad is McKinley didn't get to it. Nobody got to any of the questions everybody are asking about. None of it. It was the biggest. Look, if there's money in it for people, and Trump's fucking part of it, if there's money in it, I mean, how much fucking money do these people need? $110 million that Nancy Pelosi has is not enough. 2 industrial strength giant refrigerators isn't enough for fucking a little old lady that can barely walk and move and talk because she's always on fucking some opioid. Give that fucking woman a drug test. I guarantee she'll pop positive for fucking like 5 different drugs. Guaranteed. I say fucking drug test them all. Shit, I need to put that in VoteHerd. Right? Check out our website, VoteHerd, VoteHeard.org. Right? You were going to say?
Well,
We're good.
I gotta find a video.
Did you find it? Or no? Okay. So, look, it's a big club, it's a big club. I mean, I'm watching. I've got Jordan Lott. Thank you for being here, Jordan Lott. I know I don't have a lot of people on here, but Jesse Ventura should be in our club and get money out of politics. The two parties want control. Yes, want control. If you knew how many millions of fucking people watch Rachel Maddow religiously or watch Sean Hannity religiously, like in their words are biblical, like past biblical. They're like in stone. That's just the way it is. No. Last American Vagabond has said it. The Colbert Report has said it. These guys they're not bouncing on one side or the other. They're just fucking providing information. Jimmy's trying to do the same thing, but I gotta say, Jimmy's a little late to this COVID thing. I'm not sure if Steffi kind of fears what's going on, or maybe they don't want to get pulled from YouTube. I'm not sure what it is, but he's getting close, man. He started fucking with Fosse his last show. He's like, that motherfucker didn't tell us, right? Yeah, because you're not understanding there are negative side effects to these masks as well. A man was jogging, had the mask on the whole time. He got fucking CO2 OD. He died. And other people have had major complications with these things. You know, it's just fucking relax out there, people. You know, relax, have a good time, laugh, enjoy. Do what you can, play games. Not just video games. Get outside, get some air, get some sun. Push the boundaries of where you can be. God, I was pissed off the other day. I wanted to go shoot some hoops at the local park. They pulled down the fucking basketball backboard rims. Fuck, I was pissed off. Did you get it? Wait.
I don't know what I did with it, but yeah, I mean, that was so bizarre, right?
That was fun.
Like, they had, well, first of all, the gates to the park are chained up, but there are gaps, you know, like gigantic gaps that you can just easily walk through. But somebody had to go and take the time to individually take down each and every single basketball hoop. And it's crazy because you can walk around, right, and let your kids play on the park. You can just walk around the gate and let your kids play. But you can't walk around, and that's not necessarily, doesn't have to be a team thing. And you're not touching anything, unlike the playground. So what I don't understand is if somebody wants to go down there and distance themselves, right, and be safe and just, you know, get some exercise and, you know, practice shooting some hoops, they can't do that now because we can't be trusted with our own health and safety. You know, I mean, we're giant children that need to be babysat all the time. It's just frustrating.
No, they gave us a diaper for our faces. They gave us... Daniel St. John says this all the time. It's fucking hilarious. So how do you feel wearing that diaper on your face? Right? Now look, I will say this, and I've said it before. There's too much evidence supporting that it was man-made. Way too much evidence. They may not have actually isolated it completely as well. Okay? There's a lot of evidence that back that up. Either or, out of just common courtesy, I'm going to wear a mask when I'm around people. If I'm out at a fucking park, fuck you. Right? If I'm walking down the street, I'll avoid you. Right? But I'm not going to breathe my own CO2 constantly. I can't be doing that anyway. I'm not in perfect shape, and a lot of people shouldn't do it anyway. You know, pick and choose when you can do it considerably until we really know what's going on. But there's a lot of information. It seems like the noose is tightening on Bill Gates and Fosse. There's these distractions, and they're out there. And they're out there. Are coming tenfold. And it's just happening. I'm muted.
I mean, and what you brought up earlier with the guy that was jogging and had a mask on and didn't get enough oxygen and died. I mean, that just goes to show that the misinformation, the lies, the people, you know, that are out there, and like Dr. Fosse explained himself that he just lied about the masks. People don't know what's real and what's not. And they're just trying to be safe and do the best that they can and survive. And so you've got people out there, and if that man would have been, given proper information, like you can use this mask to go to the store. You cannot use this mask to exercise in. That's just not, it's not built for that. It's just not built for that. I know there are some other like pricier, high-end masks for people that like work and do physical activities and, in these masks, but still that's not good enough for somebody that's going to go out there and jog. And if our government was on top of this, he would have known that before he went out there. But he didn't, because they want to keep us confused and underinformed and misinformed, because when chaos, they do this in every single country they take over, right? They introduce chaos. There's chaos everywhere. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows who to turn to. Nobody knows what to believe. And here comes good old America with the solution. We have all the answers, right? When people are the most desperate for some vital information for survival, that's when they'll step in with their plan. And it's just a matter of time. I mean, any second now, we're going to have a great savior, whether it's with a vaccine or whatever it is. There's going to be somebody that's going to profit from a solution, their solution.
It's really sad. You unmuted yourself, right? Because I think we're getting this. I'm sorry about the reverb. We're going to fix that and get some better technology here real soon. Let me just say this, and then I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. Is that okay with you? Okay. If you are going to a gym and you want to go work out, right? Which some places, some states are allowing that now. Fuck. I mean, it's hurting you. It's straining your muscles. It's straining your. You need oxygen, not CO2. Right? The N95 mask, or the surgical mask, that is, the ones that you get, they're usually blue and white, right? The N95 is different. It's made for more industrial, but it's a smart mask. There's some good stuff that the mask does. There's no doubt. It's a brilliant mask, and it uses magnetically charged fibers to attract certain molecules, right? So it's 95% going to fix things. It's not perfect, because people that have beards and people that have a lot of facial hair, won't happen. Okay, that stuff's going to get missed in the bunch. But if you're going to the gym, Jesus Christ, it's just be careful. Okay, just be careful out there. There's a lot of information that needs to be divulged, and you know that mainstream media isn't doing it. I know they're not doing it. I know, and I feel, and I believe that this is just, God, one giant fucking scam. I mean, if you saw the stimulus package, if you saw everything that's happened thus far, right? Trump now fucking controls, with the majority of the Senate, our Federal Reserve. It's a .gov, right? I'm not sure if MMT is going to work for that, right? When Trump's in charge of it, unless he's okay with MMT, whoever the president's going to be or whatever's going to happen. But we need to make sure, and this is vitally important. We demand facts and truth, right? There's no other thing that we need to have as the U.S. voting republic, is to make sure that everything it's got to be transparent from now on. And the sad thing about that demand is it's going to be hard if money's still in politics. You're going to have these outside players, this handful of fucking rich people that are going to continue to control the narrative. Right? All right, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's the core issue on everything is it always comes back to corrupt politicians. And why are they corrupt? Is because we let money into politics. So every time we talk about healthcare or defunding the
How long
police
have we been
or
doing this?
anything, uh, when it comes to the systemic racism that's afflicting the world, I mean, it all comes down to money and politics. And I was just doing some basic research, like on the 1033 program, and just the incentive that corporations and politicians get from racism. And you're talking about just the 1033 program in like the 23 years they've been open. Uh, they have transferred like $4.1 billion in wealth over to police departments, military, the weapons that we use to kill other black and brown people in other countries. They're now selling those weapons to our police so our police can kill black and brown people in America. I mean, also white people, but I mean, mostly percentage wise, them. So, I mean, these are symptoms. Donald Trump is a symptom of money in politics. Nancy Pelosi is a symptom of money in politics. I mean, when you hit a pothole, that's money in politics.
Exactly.
When you go to apply for a job and they say that they want 4 years of experience and a college degree for something that pays $8.75 an hour, that's money in politics.
Fucking.
When 20 some people die in a mine because of poor regulations, that's money in politics. When a man, if you want to call him that, kneels on the neck of an actual man and kills him, that's money in politics. Everything comes back to that.
Yeah.
People died because they can't go to a hospital for something that should only cost a couple of dollars to the government. People are dying over that. So it all comes back to it. And that's the linchpin that really holds all their corruption in place. So if we could get rid of that, everything falls into place. But you know what? The problem is that Black people and the ADOS community for so long have been saying, just wait a minute till we get this done. But I don't blame them. They can't trust us when we say, help us get money out of politics and everything will go away. So we have to show them some good faith, help them fight their fight, and bring everybody together so we can really topple this system of corruption for real and once and for all.
Yeah, it's time. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, I couldn't have said that any better. Outstanding, always, and that's my wife, by the way. I'm a very, very fortunate man. I'm a very fortunate man, for sure. Okay, so listen, you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. Share, subscribe, whatever. But take this information and use it if it all pans out for you. Do your due diligence. Check everything. Watch Last American Vagabond. Watch Colbert Report. Watch that guy Robert Kohiyashi. He wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I've read. Brilliant book. And learn how everything is coming together. Just pay attention to just put the dots together, and basically our next show is going to be about BLM and trying to for all of us, the 99%, to stand alongside and be the wingmen and women for them, to also ask for money out of politics. I mean, if you're just asking to defund the police, that's short term. All right. Thank you all. Aloha. Thank you very much. Mahalo nui loha. Everybody do a big, just give a shaka. Can you shaka, babe? Come on. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Hawaiian style, brother. All right. Aloha, guys. Thank you so much for watching.